We've gotten several requests to do specialty specific videos. So today we are going to talk about neurology, how to match into a neurology residency, what makes a strong neurology applicant, how to get neurology specific experiences, and how to perform well in the interviews. So we discussed with the neurology resident and got his perspective on how to match into a neuro residency. Watch on and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for the recent updates.
Good morning, good evening, everyone. In this video today, we want to talk about neurology, and we have Dr. Nishant Kodumuri, who is a PGY2, and we wanted to get his perspective on how neuro is different, what all experiences you should be aiming to get, and how to make yourself a strong neuro applicant. So we want to talk about all phases of strong neuro app. So welcome, Nishant. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Pawan. Hey, everyone. I'm Nishant Kodumuri. Like Pawan said, I'm one of the PGY2s. Okay, and we'll be discussing about so what makes a good neurology application and what's needed for neurology application.
Okay, good. So first things first, a lot of people use it as a backup. So why don't you tell us how it is different from, say, internal medicine or family medicine or other specialties? So someone who's still figuring out which specialty to apply to, how is neuro in general and the neuro applicants, how are they different?
Yes, that's a good question, I guess. Like that's a good way where we can start. So neurology as such is a subspecialty when compared to other broad specialties that you mentioned, like internal medicine, family medicine. So these are broad specialties, those are multidisciplinary branches. So, but when it comes to neurology, that you are narrowing your career path. Okay, and so once you choose neurology, and that's what you're going to do for your rest of your life. So before going into neurology, so I would strongly recommend, consider it twice and thrice. Is this what you wanted to do? Okay, and so the more committed you are, the more interest you put in the application, and you end up in a good program. So in that way, it's completely different how we think about applying to neurology compared to internal medicine, family medicine. So for internal medicine and any other broad specialty, I don't want to just go with internal medicine, family medicine, any other broad specialty. So all you need is your interest. But here you need commitment towards one subspecialty because you're going to end up with this.
Yes, yes. So let's build on that. How do you get, as an IMG, what makes a very strong application? So what do you look for? What do programs look for in a very strong neuro applicant? How do you make your application complete?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So like I said, neurology needs commitment. Like any other specialty, you need commitment. But so when it comes to neurology, so what they look is how well you have done like in your academic career so far, or have you taken any extra steps to gain some more experiences in neurology? Because wherever you do medicine, you hardly get 1 or 2 weeks of neurology experiences as a medical student when compared to other specialties. So what they do is they kind of look for your interest by looking into your CVs, whether you have done anything like different from what's routine. So that shows your interest. So that's one thing. And most of the neurology programs in the United States are university-based. So there's like hardly 2 or 3 community programs in community neurology. And this year, I think there were like few other that come up community programs, but most of them are university. So most of them will be doing research, and neurology is like a developing branch, and they are more focused on research because there's a lot of advancements coming in all the neurological disorders. In past 20 years, it's been growing fast. So they expect applicants to have some like research background, and it's not absolutely necessary, but again, if you have, that kind of helps. Okay, and all these things shows your interest towards your specialty where you're applying to. So, and again, as I said, we are narrowing down in your career path, and that's what you're doing. So you should be able to take an extra step, and then you should be showing an interest doing all this electives or research experiences. And again, people look for these qualities, like how enthusiastic or how interested you are in these specialty, and then how hardworking you are. So when compared to all medical specialties, not compared to the surgical specialties, but all the medical specialties, starting from medicine, family medicine, or whatnot, any specialties, neurology residents are the most worked residents as per MedSkill survey. So yes, that component should be in your application package as well.
Okay.
So that will show your interest.
Okay. So we'll probably come back to this question, but also talk to us about the scores. You know, what scores are nowadays they're looking for a neuro applicant?
So when we look into NRMP statistics, that's the nationwide average where the program directors or anyone reported their match students, and the average was somewhere between 220 to 240. That's the national average. Sorry, what was that?
For both the steps, or which step are you talking about?
It's both step 1 and step 2.
Okay.
It's both step 1 and step 2. The average scores, what they prefer, is somewhere between 220 to 240. And again, neurology, like I said, it's been like a closed group, or like it's a narrow subspecialty, and people are not looking for crazy scores. People are looking for commitment here. So they're not big on scores. So I have seen people like matching with 210 scores, and I've seen people matching with 270 scores. And so I would not stress on scores as much. It's the whole application package when it comes to. But again, the better the scores, the better program you go into. And that's definitely one criteria when program directors look in when they are ranking you. But again, as I said, scores are not a big thing here.
Okay. So now coming back to those experiences, how should an IMG plan experiences, whether they are electives or, research or hands-on? What is your recommendation? How to go about finding the neuro-related experiences?
Yes. So how do we go about it? So I would recommend strongly looking into all the university websites. And like I said, most of the neuro programs are doing research. So I would begin with like emailing all the faculty who are doing the research. And again, I don't recommend writing a generic email asking for a research opportunity. I would strongly recommend doing like good work on behind and what they're doing, and write an email to personally for each faculty stating how you can help them in their research. It's not like you asking for a research opportunity, but like how you can help them with what they are doing. So definitely people are looking for help. And again, most of us IMGs, if you are going into all this research, it will be a voluntary research, and it will definitely help them and you as well. So that's a way to begin. And again, I don't expect you getting a positive response writing 10 emails. So you have to be like writing like hundreds of emails because it's very hard to get in. So, and once you get in to any sort of research, I would take any opportunity that you get in. May it be a clinical research, may it be a basic science research. But from there, I recommend to build up contacts. So contacts is all how it works. And again, these are not personal contacts. When you start working with them, it will all be professional contacts. And from there, so you start building and then go observe in the clinics of the faculty. Again, all these research positions are mostly in university programs, and when you rotate with them, and you will get a good experience. and you'll get to see how they are working both in research and both in the clinic as well. And even though if you don't want to do research in your career, but I would start with looking into these opportunities, as it will help you in gaining contacts and like a networking within the field. And neurology is a very small group compared to all other people. So it's everyone knows everyone.
Okay.
And when when you go into American Academy of Neurology website, there is a big list of places where you can get clerkships if it is for medical students who did not graduate. So that's where I would start looking into contacts to write an email for clerkship opportunities.
That's a very good suggestion. Now, talking about experiences, one of the critical things, of course, is letters of recommendation, right?
Yeah.
The LOR. So should all the LORs, 3 or 4, they should be in neurology preferably, or do programs also accept, other specialty LORs? How does that weigh into the criteria?
Yes. So obviously it would be the person whom you know better, you'll be asking a letter of recommendation. So, and as such, it does not need to be all 4 letters of recommendations from neurology, but definitely 1 or 2, and I strongly recommend 2 letters of recommendations. So again, the more experiences you gain, the more letters you get, and the more personal people can write, show your interest. Wherever you go, show your interest, show your hardworking nature, and then so people are definitely going to take time and write letter for you.
Excellent. So now let's talk about interviews. So what do they look for in the interview? What is the discussion like? What are the themes? What do they want to know about you as an applicant during the interview?
Okay. So the whole purpose of interview is to know a candidate as a person, right? And typically neurology programs, they'll have 3 or 4 interviews in a day. Will be 3 with the faculty, 1 with the chief residents, or 4 with the faculty. And again, they are not asking any subject-related questions because you are new to the field, and they know in medicine, in medical schools, they don't teach a lot of neurology. So they are definitely not going to ask you much of subject-related questions. So what they're trying to do is trying to see how good you are, how well you communicate, and how much interest you show. And they're going to talk definitely about any academic activities that if you have done, if it's there in your CV, they're definitely going to talk about. So be thorough, whatever you list in your CVs, try to be thorough and try able to answer, and you should be able to talk about whatever you list. And again, if you have any leadership leadership activities that you have done in your medical schools or anywhere, so they're going to ask, and you should be able to talk about it. And overall, so they're looking how well you can mingle with the residents there and with the people around and in that place.
Okay, so be yourself, make sure you know your CV inside out, anything and everything on your CV. Okay, and generally no medical questions, especially I think if you're a recent graduate, then they won't really ask you medical questions. Okay.
But if you have some experiences in neurology, and definitely they're going to ask you what are the experiences you have, and so if you have done some research, they're going to in-depthly they're going to ask you about what you have done, what's your role, what's your results, and all those stuff. And the 3 main points, like I said, they're looking at your personality, they're looking at your interest into the subject, and they're looking into how well you can fit into the program.
Okay. Very good, Nishant. This was very, very helpful. I hope, applicants find it very useful, those who are planning to apply or considering neurology. So thank you very much for your time. Any last minute thoughts, anything else that we may have missed?
Sure, it's my pleasure, Pawan, doing this. So overall, I would say is show your commitment to the subspecialty, and definitely don't consider neurology as a backup. And again, so people want people want how committed you are to the subspecialty, and they are not looking for someone who's looking for an opportunity, right? So they're trying to see people like, who are committed to the subspecialty, and it will be pretty evident by looking at your CVs. So try to build up your CVs, try to gain experiences, and you will do good.
All right. Thank you very much, Nishant.
Sure, Pawan.